Yo, what's up? I'm just gonna do a quick tutorial on like diary melodies. First thing I'd say you do is just pick a scale that you're familiar with and pick a sound that you like. You can always change it later, and like I usually like transpose my melodies quite a bit. In terms of like bass notes, I normally start on the one. But you can do any progression you want. I usually do mine as I go. I'm most commonly, a lot of diary beats are just gonna have this. They just have their bass notes like every 3 bars, but you can do whatever you want. Um, One I like to do a lot is just go here and then go down to the six. That's the one I use pretty often. Um, from there you can do 4 5, which is a really common progression, 1 6 4 5. What I have been doing lately is going to the three, and then either from the four or the five there. I don't, to be honest with you, I don't really lay out all my bass notes before I kind of get my melody down, just because you get to hear it with like your top notes and everything. Um, so yeah, I'll just start. Um, the way I normally start is I'll normally just raise the third, see how it sounds, or even just go to the seventh. Always has like some like a kind of sad kind of feel. Might even raise the fifth. It's a little too bright, right? So I kind of just want something. So then go from the third to the seventh, which is always good. So it's like, yeah, I kind of want like a downwards progression here. It's a little. So I kind of hear something, so I can do like this. Now, a lot of people that make diary beats will just kind of make like a 1 bar pattern and repeat it. I think that's good, but sometimes I just like to get a little more creative. I don't think that's bad at all, and you can do that. Alright, so this goal, right, the goal I have here is that's gonna go down, right? So say copy and paste this over and put it to the six, like I said. Right, that sounds pretty good. And then you can even just create little notes going back up to the seventh. Now that's good. I kind of hear something like right here. See how that sounds. Boom, boom. So I kind of hear it going like. See how this sounds. Sounded a little off to me in terms of like the. Well, it's because it's off time. So it's a little bit. So kind of what my thought process was here. Not to be honest, I don't really think when I make a melody. I just kind of click shit in. But see how it goes down here and then back up. At this ending, it goes down and then up into the next bar rather than having like this, right? So once we kind of have this sort of bass, it's a little slow, right? So what I can do is make it a little fast. I like 138 to 136 for my beats. And then from there, I just create a top line, right? So we already have this note here that's like the leading, like the voice note. So I'll just look to add notes on here to sort of like emphasize this note. And then we'll even make some cuts and shit like that. So it's gonna play around and see what sounds good. So like I kind of hear that, like that sounds pretty decent if it's repeating. So I just kind of do this, and then I make a cut right here. So I kind of get that, like I said, that 1 bar repetitiveness that are in a lot of diary beats. And then even adding a little variation to lead into the next bar, right? So the two note is always gonna sound kind of dark, right? It's near the 1. It's for those like darker, like I don't use it a lot, but it can sound pretty good. Like we'll see. See, it kind of has that like dark kind of vibe. What I can do is even try something like this. So I like that, but I think this is gonna lead back nicely into the 3. And then yeah, so it sounds a little. So let's repeat it again. Now I like a lot of variation in my melodies, but like little variation. You know what I mean? It's like the same melody, but you hear that nice little change that makes it a little more interesting, right? So here I'd probably I want to keep it similar to this, and then have it sort of end differently. So what I'll do is I'll go up to the 7. Alright, so I have that lead back in, and then I'll create some sort of. I really like doing these like half step 1 notes. I really love doing these. So I'll have something like this. It just ends it really nice, you know what I mean? And then you can always take your bass notes. What I like to do is I like to lower the original bass notes a little bit, and then kind of do the same distance on the lower bass notes, because it's a little overpowering when you put these low notes, and it does come out when you EQ it anyway, but I just like to do that. Alright, so we got sort of chord bass. One way to look at it is in like sections, right? So you have like your chords, you have like a top line. You could keep it simple like this and just probably be fine, right? But I like adding. Making it a little bit complex. You can keep it complex, keep it simple. It's really preference. I know a lot of good sounding like diary melodies that are just simple, but personally I like adding a lot of layers. Right. So we already have the F down here, so it'll probably sound good here, and we can always go back and use the 7, use the 3/7 that I was talking about. So even then, playing right there. So I might even try to just like delay it a little bit, and then it's off time. So do something like this. I don't really like that. So I kind of hear like I have this like melody, and I kind of want to just create like a little like run almost, right? So I'm fine with repeating this note. We can just go up and just maybe even just kind of do like a little run up the scale. And it kind of ends. I might just keep it the same note length and just have it lead right back into the F sharp over here. So like I said, I like doing a lot of differences, right? So what I kind of want to do here is, like I said earlier, this is playing below, right? So it's gonna sound good if it's layered. So I'm gonna just create just a little difference, you know what I mean? And I'll keep this the same. So I created this little run here. Not run, but it just comes down, right? So I'm gonna mirror that, right? I'm gonna mirror it and then just have it kind of go back down. So it goes up there and it's gonna go down here. And sometimes with these little half step notes, it sounds good if you have one and then it leads into another. So I'll have like one lower and then have like another run up here, or like another half step note here. So I'll do it here because ending on the 3 usually sounds pretty good. So I'll do it like this. Alright, it's pretty cool already. So I got something there. Now we're kind of getting into, this is probably as high as I'll go, is these notes. So one thing I do like to do on these like higher octaves is do like a super simple like top line, right? So I'll just do, and just kind of have it like, almost have like space, right? So we'll have it like, and just have it like, you know what I mean? Just super simple. Just a super simple like top line, right? Now, in terms of like, so I have this melody. It's pretty decent. I'm gonna look. One thing you need to be like paying attention to is the bass notes. Personally, I don't really like B as an 808. So when you're making a melody, you gotta be like kind of conscious of what notes your 808s are gonna be playing at. And also another thing that goes along with that is like octave jump. So one thing I really love doing on my 808s is having like changing the octave. And some 808s are just like too high. Like you don't want like an 808 playing at like fucking like a G sharp 6. Like I don't know, it just sounds fucking goofy. So I'm gonna try lowering this melody. Big tip is just going down 3. That's the one a lot of people do. I don't do it too often, but I'll try it here. 1, 2, 3. So let's just see. So for example here, with these 808s, I could have like a pattern and then have it jump octaves, and then it would go down to the G. In this case, so it would be like a C6 808 and do like a G sharp. Yeah, so we'll play it. So because these notes are so high, I almost want to go even lower, right? So I'll go down 2 more. So this is A sharp. A sharp, I love this key. It's really good for these like diary melodies. So what you want to do is you want to fuck with the velocity. I usually just randomize it. I fucked up there, but it just makes it sound more realistic, like it's actually being played. Right? So there, you have a melody. So I'll kind of just do like a recap. You want to kind of start on the 1 on any scale. You don't have to, but it's easier. In terms of bass notes, like I said, I like using the 6 a lot, but you can get a lot more creative and kind of do your own bass line. In terms of like this, what I did here, this is what it would look like finished. So I just repeat it, and here I'd probably this is getting pretty low, right? Like this is pretty fucking low in terms of notes, but I'll give it a go anyway. So I'll probably do this would be 4. So I'll do 3 4. That's what I'll do. It might be too low. Sounds pretty good. And one little thing you can do to make your chord progressions more interesting is if you're kind of doing it like a little template here, it's just switching every 3 bars. It can be kind of boring, right? So you kind of want to just add like these little notes that lead into the chord, into the next chord rather. So one thing I do like to do is just use the 3, right? And even do like a little right. Sounds, the velocity is pretty high, so I'll turn it down a little bit. Right. And since this is so low and it's going higher, what I'll do is I might start on the 3 here, and then just gonna have it. Now this is it's getting pretty low, so what I might do is I might just pitch it up here. So I'll use this. So what that kind of does is it just creates a little melody to go along with the chord progression, and just keep it interesting instead of like very predictable and just chord 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 chord. It's something to follow along with, right? And yeah, from there all you'd really want to do is I'm gonna put these velocities a little more down. From there, you just layer, right? A couple of things you can do. A lot of people will just layer at the E piano. From there, you can do an acoustic guitar or like a pad. Just for the sake of it, I'm not trying to look for a pad. I'll just do like just a nylon guitar, right? So yeah, that's just one of the ways I'll create some MIDI. What I'll do is I'll save this and I'll do another kind of like way I would do it. Okay. So here I'll just open up Synology, get a piano. You don't have to start with the piano. Personally, I make melodies better with pianos than say a guitar, but I will start with guitars every now and then. All right, so I like this XV Mellow, or whatever the fuck's called. I like this preset. Make melodies pretty good with it. So, here I'm gonna just start off in D major. Now I'll switch it up a little bit in terms of the progressions. I'll start on the 4 and normally when I start on the 4, what I'm looking to do is do a 2-7-1. That's a pretty common progression. So yeah, so it's a little bit different doing this because I change up the way I usually make my chords. Normally I have like the 3 and the 7. But yeah, I'll just make something and then I'll try to explain my thought process. So I just created like a little melody that I can repeat. It sounds a little bit fast to me, so I slowed it down. So this I kind of don't want to be too repetitive, right? So I'm gonna switch it up a little bit, and because this has the A here, I'll try to incorporate that. So instead of it going up, I'm gonna do it down. In terms of the chord, now I'm just gonna try to find where I want it to go down, right? I'll do something like this. So I just don't really like how the 7 sounds, right? So what I'll try to do is do a 5-6 and then go back to the 1. So that's gonna repeat pretty nicely. So now I got this melody. I have a little empty space here, right? So I'm gonna try to fill out this space. So what I'm kind of looking to do is just see the empty gaps on where no notes are playing and sort of fill it, but not just because, but you just want a full sound, right? So I'm gonna add the 7th here and see how that sounds. So that C sharp is just really ringy, doesn't really sound that good, right? So I might even try to incorporate this B because it's the 3rd of this note. So it has some space here. Now this 2 is gonna have it kind of sound a little dark. And then I kind of I don't want to use this C sharp like I said, right? So I'm gonna go up to the 5th of this note and maybe just have it like hold. And I don't really like how that sounds, so I'm gonna try to have it go back into the G. And now I kind of hear like a little like rhythmic thing right here. Now this is pretty low, so what I maybe go here, have it go up, and then I can kind of do something right here. And like I said in my previous example, I do like having these little half step notes and kind of like having one after the other, because it creates like an interesting sound. So I'll do something like this. I don't really like the sound, so I'm gonna try to. So one thing I fear, I don't know where I learned this, but one tip I got that's pretty useful is when making melodies, kind of have it like centered around a note. So for this note, I have it playing the G as my bass note here, and I kind of centered it around the G, right? So it goes G, G, goes back, ends to G, and it just always resolves in the G, right? So that's just a useful tip that I've learned or heard of. I don't know which is which, but. So the main difference between the two MIDIs that I've created so far is the first one, or sorry, the second one just has a repeatable one bar that's repeating every bar. Has some slight variation, but for the most part, it's just repeating every bar. And then also just the timing of the chord progression. So this has, see how it's not just on the bar. I kind of have it so it's off the bar, or just a bar and a quarter, and then here, and then it ends on like a, I don't know what the fuck I'm trying to say, but anyway, it's just the chords. From even here, I kind of want to fuck around with the chords. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just, with the transposition, I'm gonna 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna go up 3. So we got that. I'm just gonna kind of just freestyle a top line. So yeah, I like how this A sharp sounds. One thing I normally do is I'll just place notes and see what notes you like the sound of, and then you can kind of just click shit in, right? So yeah, I'm gonna just try something. So I kind of like this little A sharp to C, and I'm just gonna repeat that. And then I'll just change it slightly for some variation. The A is the 3 here, so ending on it would sound pretty good. Right, so that sounds kind of basic. Sounds good, but it sounds a little basic. So we're gonna find a way that we can kind of like just spice it up, right? So I might just have it come up to the, maybe we'll try the E. See, I don't like that. Try the D. And then, so because we did that there, we're gonna try to, like I said, just kind of mirror it. I like that, but it's just not there. So we're gonna find another way. So I don't really, I kind of want to keep it. So what I can do instead is just create a little note, see how that sounds. So yeah, I just kind of created, oh fuck me. Alright. back. So yeah, I have this melody. It's pretty good. I'm gonna try to mess around with more top lines. The way, like I said, the way I'd look at it is in sections. You have like your chords. That's just your low notes, and you have sort of like middle. It's kind of like a top line, but that's just kind of the repetitive little notes that go with the chords, I'd say. And then you have your actual top line. So I'm gonna try. So what you can do is change the velocity. These are kind of weird because it's like alright, I'll just repeat that. So there we go. Now so in these types of in this way I make melodies, because it's like changing like so often instead of just every 3 bars, it can get a little bit repetitive. So what I'd like to do is just make like a little change right here, and then I might just go down a little bit. So that just creates just slightly more variation, and it's also like a nice way to end off like the melody, right? So that kind of just, instead of it just repeating and just sounding like a loop, it just gives it a little more energy when it's like switching back, right? So I'll do it like this just so you can hear. Just gives it that little bit of variation, that little extra push. Now when I was listening to this, like I do have this like kind of low thing going with my chords, but I just think that this can use like a little bit of like a push into the next section. Right, and just like that, just super simple, just a little push there. Yeah, I think that's gonna be it for this video. I think I've kind of explained enough, a couple different ways. It's kind of a little bit harder for me because I kind of just don't really think about it and just kind of make melodies. So it's kind of interesting trying to break it down and explain. In summary, man, like diary MIDI don't have to be that complicated. This is just how I like to do it. I know other people's might sound different, or you know, be a lot more simplified, whatever. Everyone has their own ways. That's part of the fun of making music, right? You're doing it how you like to and shit like that. But yeah, man, honestly, just have fun with it. It takes a while to like get it down. Like I sort of just like got into diary on a whim. I just saw like a YouTube tutorial and I was like, oh fuck, this shit looks like fun. How the fuck this guy like make this piano? And just from there I just kept on doing it. Like I said, it's just repetitiveness. Eventually, it's like a muscle you train, bro. Eventually you just know where to put notes, like what it's gonna sound like. You can hear melodies and put it down better. So it just comes with time. So I'd say just don't get frustrated. I am thinking of doing like a MIDI pack or something similar like that. So just let me know if you guys want something like that. I can definitely do that.